All right, and final piece of Squared Circle news for today. More on the CM Punk AEW situation. Uh, CM Punk is obviously very polarizing at this point in time. I personally, I feel like CM Punk was in the right for what he did, and should not have been fired from AEW. And I said that last week. Tony Khan felt differently. And you know what? Here's the deal. I personally feel like Tony Khan had to do something, right? He is the owner, manager, whatever of AEW, president, CEO, blah, 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 right? Uh, he had to do something. He's got no backbone because he didn't do anything to avoid the situation. So now he had to do it. Here's the deal. CM Punk, when he came back in June, knew he was going into hostile territory. We knew that the Buckaroos, the Young Bucks, and Kenny Omega, and Hangman Page and their camp, the Elite, they were against Punk from the start because of what happened at All Out last year, affectionately known as Brawl Out, right? And you know, they the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega, they go spouting off stuff on their Being the Elite YouTube show and all that kind of stuff, and it's childish, it's high schoolish, and they have no business being EVPs of a major wrestling company, in my opinion. And then starting from All In, when Jack Perry decided to take a public shot through the hard camera at CM Punk about the real glass comment, and then came back and he got him into a headlock and what have you. Quite honestly, it was probably months and months of frustration building up for CM Punk because of the simple fact you have a bunch of people who are immature and just indie outlaw wrestlers. And yes, I'll channel Jim Cornette for this, who are running the company over there. Yeah, Tony Khan is a financial backer, but who's really running the company? The quote unquote EVPs. Cody Rhodes got out of there at the best opportunity, at the first opportunity that he could. First contract was up. He said, "You know what? I've got enough equity in my name. I'm going back to WWE where he belongs." And that was, and that's what had to happen. Now, Tony Khan and the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega, they see that Cody Rhodes left, so they're like, "What's the next best thing?" Well, Jericho is, in the north of 50. He's not going to be around much longer. Sting is north of 60, and he's not going to be around. John Moxley turned out to be a flop and just a buffoon. So they had to get the next best thing. CM Punk, who left wrestling 7 years ago in that highly publicized feud with the WWE, he was back. He came back. He came back to Rampage, right? So he was on, the first episode of Rampage. I think that's what it was. The first episode of Rampage. And then he was on the first episode of Collision because the people over at Warner Brothers Discovery decided, we need to keep this guy here, and he needs a place to be on away from the shenanigans of the other EVPs. So they brought him on, and honestly, Collision was what wrestling, was as close to good wrestling as it can be for that company. Dynamite sucks. It really does. I mean, there's just too many shenanigans on Dynamite. The level of psychology in AEW took a drastic hit because nobody on the indie scene practices psychology because you're really just performing for the live audience on independent shows. CM Punk brought that back. He's been to the major leagues. He's been on WWE. So is Jericho and Sting, but they kind of started to, I guess, blend in, so to speak, and they started to just adapt to what the Elite wanted. CM Punk didn't. FTR, they didn't want to. FTR was so happy that CM Punk came back. And you know what? It would have been great if right from the very beginning it was CM Punk and FTR versus the Elite. That would have taken care of everything. And CM Punk was willing to meet with the EVPs, willing to meet with the Bucks and Omega and Hangman Page and get everything squashed, but he didn't. because the EVPs called it off and said, "Oh, if he could behave for 6 months, then we'll meet with him." Well, if you're in a position of power and an EVP of a company, you put your personal feelings aside and you do what's best for business. EVPs don't know how to do that. The Young Bucks and Kenny Omega and Hangman Page, I'll leave it Omega out of it, but Hangman Page and the Young Bucks and Jungle Boy Jack Perry, they don't know how to be professional. Jack Perry's not an EVP, but the Bucks and I believe Omega are the Bucks and Page, I believe are. I know the Bucks are. I believe Page is. They don't know how to be professionals because everything was done out of spite, off they shot, so to speak. They went off script and inside baseball instead of doing things behind the curtains where nobody belongs. You know what I mean? They do things in front of the camera, whether it's on Dynamite, whether it's on on a pay-per-view pre-show or even on their YouTube channel, being the Elite. So I understand where CM Punk is coming from. Would I like to see him in the WWE? Well, there's a lot of mixed reviews about that. Kevin Nash says, "Oh yeah, bring him in because I'll go in there and beat the shit out of him." Kevin Nash is not a fan of CM Punk. Eric Bischoff, which I'm kind of shocked that Eric Bischoff is not a fan, not necessarily that he isn't a fan of CM Punk, but he thinks CM Punk was in the wrong. Being a business person that I know of, I would think that he would want Tony Khan and the EVP of AEW to be held to a higher professional standard. Now, did Punk react the wrong way or do things the wrong way? Yes. But for Tony Khan to come out and say I was afraid for my life, that just made him a laughing stock of wrestling. It really did, in my opinion. I'm sorry. Because if you know the wrestling business, you know that sometimes guys get heated, the testosterone is going, and there could be a brawl. I mean, there could be a fight. There could be some physicality. You know what I mean? That comes with the territory. Now, does it mean that you have to go over and sucker punch anybody just because? No. But personal things happen. You do it in the ring, right? You settle in the ring, and you go beat the crap out of each other, and then at the end of it, you could talk. That's how you deal with conflict in wrestling. Not just, oh, well, we're going to put everybody on indefinite suspension. We'll do this, do that. And, this is the first time I've ever feared for my safety and security in my life. Give me a break. Anyways, I would love to see CM Punk come into the WWE and come back at Survivor Series, which happens to be in Chicago. Now, I don't know if there's a non-compete clause. I mean, if it is, being that he was let go at I believe it was the Wednesday. No, I'm sorry, the Friday before All Out, which would have been September 7th. I want to say no, September. When? Where's the calendar? I'm sorry, Saturday the 2nd. Yeah, Saturday, September 2nd. That's when CM Punk was let go. If there's a 90-day non-compete, he wouldn't be eligible until December, so that rules out the Survivor Series return. Could come back to the Royal Rumble. You know what I mean? It's always a possibility. I think that Vince, because again, as of tomorrow, there's new management, new ownership in the WWE, and they could overrule Vince McMahon. And yeah, Punk has had, but Punk did go backstage to a WWE event, earlier this year, and he was cordial with everybody, talked to Triple H, and it was cordially, and he left without incident. When they said, "Hey, Vince said you got to go. We don't want to be suspected of any tampering," and he understood. So I think it's definitely a possibility that CM Punk could be headed back to the WWE at some point in time, and he'll be able to work with everybody because he didn't have any problems with the wrestlers. He had problems with Vince and with Triple H at the time, and the management of the company. So we'll see how it goes. I think it's going to be a good idea to have CM Punk back in the fold, especially now. I mean, He's got the biggest buzz coming out of AEW. Same with Cody, only I guess on the opposite scale. um, and yeah, I mean, could we see a feud CM Punk and Cody? CM Punk and Roman Reigns. The funny part is Roman Reigns has held the title longer. His current title reign is longer than CM Punk's entire career in AEW. Because CM Punk started AEW a year in to Roman Reigns' title reign. And Roman Reigns is still the title and CM Punk is gone. So, anywho, all right, we're about done for today. That was your Squared Circle News Report. My name is Vinnie Apicella. Tomorrow being Tuesday the 12th, we're going to record another episode of the Suds part, and then we'll go from there in terms of other programming, but it's a growth process. Hopefully you like the fact that this is broken down into, if you're watching the full feed, thank you. If you're listening to the full feed, thank you. But I did also release shorter episodes of certain topics. So thank you for listening and watching. My name is Vinnie Apicella. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and get notified anytime a new podcast, a new release happens on YouTube or the podcasts. And leave us a 5-star review. Comment down below, like the video, give us a 5-star review wherever you listen to it, and definitely subscribe. Okay, my name is Vinnie. Thank you for watching and listening to the Suds in the Squared Circle News, right here, wherever you find your favorite podcasts.